Hello, everyone. I'm the Magi, and these are my thoughts on the Book of Clarence. Now, without spoiling the movie, I really don't care for that, but without spoiling the movie, let's just talk about what we know. So we know for sure that they set out a trailer last year, and in the trailer, you'll see that Clarence, who is not a biblical character, please do not start Googling who's Clarence in the Bible. He's not real. So, what we do know is that Clarence was a knucklehead from around the way who knew of Yeshua, who knew of the apostles, and wanted that kind of respect from people of his area, right? So that's what we know, right? And in a nutshell of the trailer. Now, I seen the movie. I've also seen other biblical movies that came out way before this. So now it's like comparison. How do you compare? Is this a religious movie? Absolutely not. It's not a religious movie. It's not for you to find faith or anything like that. No. Okay, so if you was to, or so you seen Passion of the Christ, right? If you haven't, go see it. It's a great movie. Mel Gibson, I don't care what nobody said, you did your thing on that. They try to play you, but it was good. Anyway, so Passion of the Christ. If we could compare Passion of the Christ, if I could compare Passion of the Christ, it would be compared to the original Wizard of Oz, if you ever seen that movie, right? Now, the Book of Clarence, if we could compare that, that would be the Wiz to the Passion of the Christ. You understand what I'm saying? It would be more down, more hip, more, more seasoned. It would be more seasoned. Okay, so now let's start getting to like the key factors of it. There's a Clarence in all of us, okay? Everybody wakes up and they want to be something. They want to make something of themselves, whether it's a name, whether it's a better life for their family. That's what Clarence wanted. Clarence wanted to make a name for himself. He's been around his neighborhood, around the block, and everybody always looked at him as a joke or a knucklehead or a troublemaker. Clarence wanted to be more than that. Especially because now the apostles and Yeshua, who just seemingly came out of nowhere, and like they get all these praises, this money, this attention. You understand what I'm saying? So the reality of the Book of Clarence, if you ask me, is how people felt and thought while the apostles and Yeshua was around. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was reading like a Christian group, and they were like doing their review on it. And they were saying how in the Book of Clarence, they're showing how Clarence and the people around are envious of the apostles, like which they are. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine we all living in the same neighborhood, and God and the Son of God comes and picks 12 random people, and you weren't that one? Would you not be jealous? You would be jealous. Like, what am I doing that I'm not an apostle? Like, am I not favored by God? Do God not love me? So that's the reality of it. I feel like the Book of Clarence showed the reality of how people thought of the apostles and Yeshua and what they would do, right? So that's the first key point. Like, it shows that the people around would, in reality, they would be jealous. Another thing that it shows is the Christian thing. They were saying how, like, oh, in the movie the apostles is looking down on people. No, that's not happening either. The apostles, what people don't understand, what Clarence didn't understand, was this was all ordained by God. He couldn't believe that was really going on until you see later in a movie of him wanting to be like Yeshua so bad, wanting that attention, wanting all of that so bad. He eventually had to bear his own cross. Meaning Clarence, because you asked for this. You wanted this, right? You wanted a name. You wanted to be the Messiah so bad. Oh, in the end, he definitely got what he was asking for. He got it. He got everything that he was asking for. He just didn't know the price he was going to pay. And I feel like that movie really showed us on how important it is just to be yourself. You don't know what it took for that person who has the dream car, the dream home, the dream guy or girl, the dream career. You don't know the cross that they had to bear to receive that. You know what I'm saying? Faith without hard work is dead, you know? So you can't just cut corners and feel like, well, it must be easy. Such and such is doing it. I can do it too. No, you can't do it. You can only do what is for you. You know what I'm saying? Another key thing, because this could be a 20-minute video, because I could go in on this book, but whatever, on the book of Clarence, but whatever. Another thing that I want to speak on too is when Clarence in the movie keeps saying how knowledge is better, not better, but knowledge is stronger than belief, something like that. I don't want to mix up the words because I don't want to mix up the message, but I just want to leave off on this note. In the Passion of the Christ and any other like biblical movie that's serious, like that was a religious movie, because the Book of Clarence isn't, but in those movies, when Yeshua would go through these neighborhoods, and he was young. Yeshua was only 30 years old, 33 when he was crucified. So the priests that were 60, 70, 80 years old and didn't know what Yeshua knew, they felt like people shouldn't listen to him because he's too young to know this. That's when they all took him to the Romans, and they asked, in Passion of the Christ, they asked, would y'all rather let Yeshua of Nazareth go, or would y'all let Barabbas go? Go watch Passion of the Christ if you want to know who all these people is. And the people chose Barabbas because, you know, again, the threat that Yeshua held of him being just all-knowing, you know, and people are threatened by that. And Clarence, he knew that his knowledge of him knowing that he can act the same, he could pretend to be, he knew that was powerful. He knew that his wits was powerful, and that he could, you know, have anything he wanted with his knowledge without God. You know, y'all should see this movie. It's some things that I want to say, because y'all, that movie's deep. And it really goes on, you know, are all of us really bad? Or is there a reason to the things that we do? You know, it's dope. But those are my thoughts.